Hello, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch. I just thought I'd give you an update of some of the things that I've learned on this 4020, the power takeoff on it. Anyway, everything with this transmission is hydraulic, so there are no real mechanical links to everything. This clutch, they call it an inching clutch, is nothing more than a valve that opens and closes the main clutch pack, and there is a little bit of a mechanical adjustment right here. The directions say to pull this cotter pin out and put that rod out, and then push the pedal all the way down, and then this piece go all the way down, and then you need to adjust this to where it matches, and then I think you back it off a half of a turn, and I had that apart and it was off a little bit, so the main clutch is fine. Well, I'm not having trouble with the main clutch anyway, but anyway, this is the valve pack down in here. Right here is where you hook into it to adjust the main, or not to adjust, to test the main pump, hydraulic pump pressure. And I went to the big city today. Our closest big city would be Logan, Utah. And I picked up me a tester. I've needed one of these for years and I never owned one. So I picked up a tester just so I can tell for sure that the main pump is doing okay. But I think the main pump is probably fine because everything else works. The transmission works and everything. But I found some interesting things here. As far as the power takeoff, all the forums seem to say that it's the brake on the power takeoff, but I'm not sure that that's what's going on with it, because it has full power no matter if the handle is in the on or off position. It has full power on that power takeoff. And so I think it's not turning off. It's not just freewheeling because the brake's not working. But anyway, the power takeoff valve, this is the clutch valve, the main clutch pack valve. And right here is the power takeoff valve. And so from what I've studied and trying to get an understanding, this whole thing is going to have to come off here. Right there is what it looks like. And I'll show you what I found out inside here, how I'm kind of coming to my conclusions. And time will tell when I get this thing apart if my theory is correct or not. I've got this stuff undone, but here, so right there is the main turn on or off for the power takeoff on the right hand side. And this is really hard to see down in there. The end of the linkage of that goes onto this. I've got it pulled off down there, and that just goes on a shaft down there, and then it goes up and down as far as that linkage goes. And there is an adjustment on the end of that rod, but it's not out of adjustment because this stops when you still have movement here. So it's not that adjustment, and I'm hoping I can get this positioned so you can see down in here. This is really awkward to work with. So anyway, you can see the green piece right there. That's the shaft that goes down to control that. And then on the bottom of that, you can see down there, hopefully it's focusing. You can see that shaft that's coming out there that's threaded on the end. That piece is what this goes on. And when I got this all taken apart, I can reach down in there and I can turn that shaft just with my fingers. There's no resistance whatsoever on that piece. So my conclusion, that shaft goes through into this housing we were looking at here, and then there's a valve right here that shaft runs. So I'm concluding that there's something amiss right between that shaft that turns and the valve that goes up and down. One possibility from the way the book looks is that there's a spring in there, and maybe if that spring is broken, it's not letting that valve go back into neutral. And because I don't think there's any direct linkage between that shaft and the valve here. For some reason, something's broke in there. And so it would be that shaft right there is what I was moving freehand, and then this right here is the valve that it actuates up and down. So that's where I'm at right now on it. I am really hoping that that's what it is, because pulling this valve off the side of the tractor is going to be way easier and simpler than splitting this tractor to get inside of things. So wish me good luck here that that's what the problem is. I talked to him in there at the John Deere dealer, and they said that all the parts should be available for that in there. Once I get it apart, I'll go ahead and order the parts. I had them print me out a parts list with all the parts numbers for all of those things, so I can, when I get it figured out, I can call them up and have them order the parts, and then I'll just have to go after them. That John Deere dealer doesn't very often keep these parts in stock, but they can order them in pretty easy. He said the only thing that wasn't available anymore was just the main housing, and I don't see that there's any cracks or anything problem with that main housing. So that's where we stand on this John Deere 4020. Hopefully things will go together, and thanks for watching.